Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. All right. Looks like everything is up and running. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hello and welcome. You're listening to another message for you as a part of the XRP Collective. I'm Dave, better known as XRP Lion 1. Today's Thursday, June 23rd, 2022. We're going to preempt this video to some extent based upon information that I just received. Remember I told you I was waiting for one more piece of information? Well, that information came in extremely early this morning at around 1 o'clock, between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. And I could not be more excited. And I'm super excited to be able to share it with all of you today. By a show of hands, how many people have felt that energy that I've talked about in prior videos? That something big was about ready to happen. Okay, I see that hand, I see that hand, and I see that hand. Great. Great. That tells me that you, as one of the Father's chosen, are exactly where you're supposed to be. No ifs, ands, or buts. Isn't that exciting? Man, just gets me fired up. I thought I was going to do this yesterday and the day before. And when it's not time, and I've learned this from working with the Lord over a lot of years and the concentrated effort since April 4th of last year, when it came to Twitter, it just doesn't happen. I can have all the good intentions to want to check the box and get it done and put something out there for everyone. But God has 100% permission in my sold out acceptance He can change the script whenever necessary. I'm here to honor Him. You're listening and watching this right now, honoring Him. And He's had me share so many times, how much love He pours out upon you. And if you're listening for the first time today, you're going to come to understand that our Father in heaven, the creator of heaven and earth, the one who knew everything that was going to happen with what's going on right now with XRP in the world, and He made sure that there was provision for now, for you, for your family, for your legacy. Not so that you would run out there and just take care of yourself and live a big cushy life. No, that's not what this is intended for. $7,885 years ago, plus 2 years now, He entered into a contract with the devil. Giving him reign to steal, kill, and destroy. Flat out. The Lord knew that's what he would do. And even before it happened, because remember, when God spoke, everything came into existence at one time. The manifestation, like for us, put between two eternities in this bubble called time. That was created so that we would have time to find our way back to him. And that together we would live out the rest of our life and our legacy would take over for the plans that we have together with him. And oh my gosh, what plans he has for you with him. The plans he has for me with him. Each individual person, the plan is, it's like off the chain. And he set all that up in an instant. So he didn't have to go out and create it. It was already created. He just laid it up in heaven. And it just sat there, and it was like being crock-potted. And everything that the enemy stole in every generation in your life, it was already laid up in heaven, multiplied times 7. And I'm trying to keep that part brief. You know, that's a 3-hour discussion all by itself. But where are we at right now? You know, I thought we would, well, and we will a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about this 2023 budget and tax farce that Mr. Biden has proposed. And I can say that it's a farce because the Lord's shown me since the very beginning, and I've posted on this on Twitter. You can go back to April 4th. This whole thing has just been a show, a reality show, like the Truman Show. Because certain things had to take place. Traps had to be set. Now, mind you, I posted everything that he told me to post. It wasn't up to me to try to understand it so that it resonated inside of me after I received it from him, got that download. But over this time, it just got clearer and clearer and clearer. And then man would provide the proof, and it would happen. And I've posted on this many, many times. The lawsuit isn't what people think it is. There isn't anything going on between the SEC and Ripple that's negative. It's been a covert operation to snare the bad guys. Period. Because as we go into this new system, and it's his great kingdom reset, it is the largest transfer of wealth that the world will ever see. And you're part of it. And it has 4 basic components. The quantum financial system, which takes us into a digital currency. There is some, quote paper bills, but it all runs on the blockchain. And that blockchain is the XRP ledger. Every single transaction in the world goes through the XRP ledger. All crypto is on the XRP ledger. It just moves to a different placeholder in the system. But that digital coin never leaves. We have the buyback of XRP as the world reserve currency to be backed by gold. The Lord has already shown me, and it's been proved, that XRP as the world reserve currency will be given a value of at least $125,000 a coin to start. And that's necessary to provide the appropriate coverage ratios based upon all of the debt in the financial system. Stock market, bonds, treasuries, derivatives, commodities, insurance. FDIC is going out the window because it was part of the Fed system, which is no longer. The quantum financial system will provide 100% insurance. And why is that so? Because we're all going to have a whole lot more than $250,000. And we're not putting it anywhere where it's not 100% insured. So we have quantitative financial system. We have XRP, world reserve currency, backed by gold. Gold will be increased to $125,000 an ounce. Silver, which is XLM, somewhere between 13 and 18,000. I'm sorry, 18 to 30,000 per ounce. And that's just based upon the multiples for gold versus silver as it comes out of the ground. Then we have the removal of the income tax system. So we won't have income taxes, we'll pay a consumption tax. And everybody will pay it. So if I'm a billionaire and I want to buy a $250 million yacht, and I'm buying it in Italy, I'm a U.S. resident, so I pay the 15% on it. You won't get around it. Nobody will. So it's equitable. And it's only on new things, not on used. So if you buy a used car, you don't pay it. You sell stuff between people that is used, not new, you don't pay it. And then no tax on investments. Think about that. Right now, there's over $9 trillion sitting in retirement accounts. That number is a little bit lower because of what's going on in the stock market and some things that are going to happen, right? Everything's going to zero. It's all burning down. The wheat's been separated from the chaff, and the entire system has to be burned down. That takes the evil out. And I talked about this before. The Lord has made it very clear, and He's asked me to reiterate that very specifically now, that we're not to bring into the new system the old, the past. And I'm gonna walk you through why that's so important. When the Lord helped Joshua he told them, march around the city of Jericho 7 times. They stopped, they blew the shofars, and the walls came crumbling down. He was instructed, and he instructed all of his men, that nothing was to be left living, not even the animals, but that they were not to take anything from Jericho. No spoils. Well, somebody didn't get the email or the memo and brought something back into their camp after the little battle was over. And Joshua got called out by the Lord. Well, that particular person, they were killed on the spot because they didn't follow the Lord's direction. It'll be up to you to commune with the Father and find out what He wants you to do in your situation. I laid down all my businesses. That's what He told me to do. Back when I started in April of 2021. We're not bringing the money prior to that in. And He took care of that. Why is this important? And I want to say this with all the love that I can for each of you that's listening right now. He has brought us to this point. We're here because of Him. He's watched over us. He's taken care of us. And now He's releasing and trusting in us, like in the parable of the talents. To be a great steward of that blessing. Will there be people that aren't? Yes, they will. Just like people that win the lottery. 3 to 5 years down the road, they're broke and they're miserable. They're worse off than when they started. But what he said to me, which was so impactful, he said, Dave, I want everybody to know that they could never have earned this in a lifetime or 100 lifetimes. And that this is a gift and a blessing as a son or a daughter. And those funds are to be a blessing. And he wants to work with each of us on what that purpose is. And I'm not saying we're not going to have nice stuff. He already acknowledged that. One of my close friends who's a pastor delivered a prophetic word, and it was like over the top what God told him. Just an extravagant lifestyle. No, I'm a conservative guy. I don't try to grab the limelight, never have. But it's not because I don't know what to do to get it. I'm that Sigma Alpha. I can run the show. But I don't need to. It's more important to raise up people in understanding what's going on and how to prepare, and teach them how to get in that secret place with the Father and just have him love on them. And then be able to ask what you're going to do together. Because it's all going to be so much fun. It really is. Man. Oh. It makes me just want to go bawl right now. Just stop the video, go bawl for a couple hours, pull myself back together. I mean, that's why you hear me sniffle every once in a while. It's just because it's just so emotional to be with him, to feel that love, that unconditional love. It's like, what do you want me to do, Papa? What are we doing today? Because we won't have to do anything when you really think about it. You know, I've already proved a valuation of $37,500. And you're already hearing it's more. But even if you just take that and you multiply it times how many XRP you have, it's ridiculous. Only our Father in heaven could do that. Why? Because he owns all the animals. He owns every hill. It's all his. He created it. That's why evil isn't going to be tolerated going forward, let alone get in, if you know what I mean. So it's taking place right now. They're ridding the world of evil. And they've got about 98% of it already taken care of. Because that's not what God's plan was. And if you listen to the prior videos, you know, he got that control back 100% on December 22nd, 2020, when the timeline started. So it really hasn't been that long. But he's been dreaming about that day, this day, for all of us. And that's what I'm so excited about for each and every one of you. So let's talk a little bit about this tax farce. It's already been proven that the IRS they're done. They're out of business, just like the Fed. Why? Because the plan got delayed. Otherwise, it would have already happened. And for 99% of us, we would never have owned XRP, let alone how much we may own now. So that window was such a blessing, because it allowed so many more of God's chosen to pick up some XRP, to change lives, change destinies, change legacies. Because as we move forward, it's all about love. The two greatest commandments from Jesus were about love. Not about don't do this, don't do that. No, it was like, hey, can you just love? Can you love yourself? Can you love God? Can you love your neighbor? Just focus on that. See? And that's what that's what he already made happen. He already declared that this is his time, Time. And it's his land. Okay? We talked about this before. Our heart is our field. And he plants in our heart. And he's planting that blessing in our heart. So we need to make sure that that soil is fantastic. There's no weeds. It's ready to go. And he's right there to help us do that with his Holy Spirit. I mean, it's going to take some time, a little bit of time, as this unfolds, right? And that's fine. We don't have to rush and do anything because we want to get good counsel. You want to make sure that you have good counsel around you. That's super important. I mean, I've been in tax and accounting for over 35 years. I've been involved in acquisitions, contracts, management, the whole 9 yards. But most people just don't know what to do. So they don't do anything, and that'll get you in trouble. But that's a discussion for another time. We can save that. But this tax farce. So here's what he does. June 4th, right? They released the budget and tax proposal bill. And they used the shootings as a cover so nobody picks it up, sees what's going on. I didn't see one person post on it on Twitter, except for an entity that does nothing but monitor tax stuff. And what they wrote was just this little tiny tweet. And why is that? Because they know it's not going to happen. You know, back when we had the possibility of having the buyback in 2021, we were making arrangements to make sure that we minimize the income tax on that. Identifying ourselves as great stewards, right? Do whatever it takes. And what does Joe do? Joe turns around and retroactively proposes a tax law change on capital gains. First starting April 28th of 2021, and then changes it to September 2021. And then it all just dies on the vine. Nothing happens. And they don't say one word about income tax changes for 2021 or 2022. So this 23 budget proposal that he just released has more taxes, higher taxes than the one from 2021. And they wrote it up so it would go into effect for the tax year 2023. Well, I did a post, and you probably saw the thumbnail. God said, no way. Ain't going to happen. He's not going to allow man to come in and rob us, which would be the devil stealing from us, because that contract's over. It expired. So it's a no deal. So you start looking at the breadcrumbs, and I've dropped breadcrumbs, not being able to release the full impact of everything combined. But now I can talk about it. I talked a little bit about it on 2 prior videos. But he is maximizing the blessing on the buyback of XRP to us. So those funds are there to grow. That's the first order of business when you have a foundation is to grow those assets. And then you have a 5% donation requirement per year. So you have what's called structured giving. You just don't drop 5% of the portfolio on your church. You'll kill them. You'll destroy them. But if you follow the examples that take place for foundations, they're business partners helping to finance a need, whether it's at a hospital or it's this or that or with a ministry. But because we're not a ministry, we're a private foundation, we can structure the giving over time. And the organization we're giving to has to meet the requirements that they say they're going to meet for that particular period of time. And there's ramifications if they don't. Right? If you hired a contractor to build you a house, you wouldn't give him all the money up front because he'd leave town. So you use a percentage of the completion of the contract. So you give him a small amount up front so he can start to build. And then as he prepares the land, does the lot, gets the plumbing, has the foundation, all of that gets signed off. And then he gets some more to do the framing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, until the house is complete. And of course, this is all conditional upon inspections with the city and making sure that it's being built right. So that's how a foundation works, different than a ministry, right? In a ministry, when a ministry receives money, their job is to spend it. When a foundation gives money, or when a foundation has money, they're to grow the money. That's why they only have to give 5% per year. So your foundation can become your legacy for hundreds of years, as long as it's managed right. But again, that's a discussion for another day. But within this tax bill, if you took the maximum tax that a person could pay for federal, it was 57.3%. 57.3%. It was 52.88% for the prior year, which didn't happen. Now you add on the states, which are all thinking they're going to get a big windfall, right? Because if they have people in their state that are going to get XRP, they're just, they're wringing their hands. Like, oh man, we're going to raise the capital gains tax, and we're going to follow the Fed, and we're going to treat it all as ordinary income. So whether you held it 100 years or you held it for 2 days, it all gets taxed as ordinary income. Oh, and then if you go over a certain amount, then we're going to add another 5% here. We're going to add 3% here, another 3.8% here. And, that's Fed. The state goes, well, you know what? We'll just move it to 16%. I think California is like 16.4. Oregon is up there. And you're like, wait a minute. That's like over 72%. Now, I'm going somewhere with this, so thank you for your patience. How would 72% income tax ever be considered? Think about it. It wouldn't. It couldn't. That's why what's happening now with the quantum financial system, NESARA, GESARA coming in. That was one of the things I missed. So we got NESARA coming in, GESARA for global. That eliminates all taxation. That's why in the write-ups, not necessarily in the timeline, right? But after the timeline was created, the Lord said, no, it's all going to be tax-free. You're not going to pay any tax on it at all. What could I do but fall on the ground and praise and thank Him for that? Not just for me, but for all of you too. So that's how we went right to a valuation of $37,500, not the net amount. And as I've talked before, it's just been a process of time, because the valuation goes up every 22 and a half days by $1,250 or $55.56 per day. See, people forget that holding your XRP at 30 cents isn't the true valuation. It's just the valuation that has been put on it while it's held down. I mean, XRP is being used through the ledger right now for liquidity. And I guarantee you that value is not 30 cents. I've had certain people acknowledge that it is 4 to 5 figures, which is right in line with what's already been proven through the Lord's reveals and the revelation and the math. What a journey. So we've rounded third base, and we're standing with our foot about 1 inch above home plate. And I'm serious about that. Just imagine yourself standing right there, and you're ready to finish that step, and you're like 1 inch above. Certain intel has come out. I posted on it today that things could kick off as soon as tomorrow. Tomorrow, June 24th. What are the catalysts that would play into something like that? The Supreme Court rulings. We have a massive solar event from the sun. I did a post right before I started to record this video that there's a massive sunspot on the sun pointed directly at us. And a coronal ejection from that would be massive. It would be so massive that it would knock out all the power. So you can see how all of this is playing out. And then we have 13 days where we're just going to be chilling at home, and I've talked about that before. So hopefully you've gone out and got all your party snacks, and you're all stocked up, and you've made your home or apartment super comfortable, because we're all just going to be hanging out. And they'll inform us via the emergency broadcasting station when we need to tune in during the day. But it's not something to be fearful of. The plan had to be brought to the point where everything was done at one time, not piecemeal. And you may remember the post I did where the Lord declared now, acceleration now, and it was like the next day, it was like stuff is just popping off. Every single day, it's like 2 to 4 things or more happening. Augusto, BIS. Yellen, Treasury. Powell. It's like, that's why I said last year, it's done. And it was done last year. It was all supposed to kick off on 11/3. November 3rd. We're going to get our Jubilee this year. So if we go from today, or from tomorrow, and we go 13 days ahead, we're coming into that 4th of July, July 3rd, and all these other things we're tying into that July 3rd, 4th, 7th time frame. And I posted something on that the other day, and it was July 5th is a Tuesday. Remember we talked about Tuesdays? It's like, when would be the day that we could see all of this? And when I mean see it, we know that XRP is going to zero, right? So is everything. So when they boot this whole system back up, everything's zero. But it doesn't mean that our XRP is worthless. It just means that the records are not there. And it's okay. Because we know XRP is 37.5, more likely greater than that when it's finally finalized. And this is a whole lot more fun than talking about the farce with Mr. Biden. But see, here's the thing. If you go back and look at all the little things that have been going on, it was to buy time. It wasn't to get anything done. He hasn't gotten one thing done. So the plan, he's in the plan. He wasn't supposed to get anything done. He's just supposed to buy time and get everybody so teed off at what's going on that they would have to wake up and realize that he couldn't be backed. And again, there's so much stuff behind the scenes that play into all this, and how people have had to maintain their bad side, having already negotiated for their life because of what they did. But they're still part of the show. And all that will come out not too long from now. And the Lord had me talking about that from day one. I talked about the SEC going away, the Fed going away, something replacing that. And I'm excited to identify that as Ripple. Why did my voice go up? Just excited. Ripple as the CBDC. Look at all the people that have gone to work at Ripple from every area of finance. Rosie, the people from the SEC, banking. It's like all of this is being done in plain sight, but nobody sees it because they're too busy being caught up in the emotional aspect of the current administration's inability to do anything but make all these threats, right? So what does it really come down to? It comes down to the point that we have this short little tiny window to make sure that we're cleansed. That's the word I want to use. We're clean. We've repented. And all repentance means is to acknowledge that you were going in the wrong direction and turn around and go in the right direction. Religion has made it a taboo to control people. But I'm using it in the spirit of love from the Father. It's like, I'm repenting all the time. But see, I understand that it's like driving down the freeway and you're having a conversation with somebody in the car and you miss your off ramp. It's like, oh, dang it. And what do? You get off on the next one and go across and get back on the freeway going the other way. It's real simple. So it's nothing that we have to, be ashamed of. But if there's things we need to clean up, we need to clean them up. And I'll just leave it at that because there's no judgment here. That's between you and the Father. And it's not like he doesn't know what's going on. And it's okay. It's okay to say, Father, you know what? I'm so tired of this. I want to be done with it. And ask him to just remove that from you. And tell him there can't be any part of it left in you. It's like, and I'm just going to use the example of alcohol. I drink alcohol. I love a glass of wine every now and then. In my younger days, I drank more than I should. Paid the price. But now I'm wiser, right? But if that's an issue for you, then you just ask the Lord to take that craving away and not leave any of it in your body. And when I did that, I told him, I said, I can't do it. The only way it's going to work is if you take it away. And it wasn't take the alcohol away. It was to take away my body's urge for alcohol. And it was like I woke up the next day, I remember. And then 3 days later, it was like, gosh, I haven't even wanted to have any alcohol. And then it was a month, and I'm like, this is, Lord, you did this. And it was like, well, of course I did. You asked me to take it out of your body, out of your head. So I did. But that's where most people get hung up. They don't ask for him to help to take it away. Because that's what he is so great at. So don't fear him. He's just waiting for you to come home. So he can wrap you up in his arms and he can just love on you and spoil you and just remove all those negative thoughts that you've had for all those years that kept you away. But he's ready now. So I encourage that. So what do we do now? We continue to praise and thank him. because when we do that, I was actually looking this up this morning. The word prayer or pray in Strong's dictionary actually uses the word enticement and to beg for something. In the word praise, the definition includes the words thanksgiving and acknowledgement that something was already done. So you wouldn't praise for something that wasn't done, right? So when we come in with praise and thanksgiving, we're already acknowledging to the Father what He's already done. And that is so powerful. I mean, it changed my life radically. Now, religion taught me to pray. That's what religion did. But God says in the Word to just praise and thank and give Him thanksgiving. Because you're saying, Daddy, I know what you already did. I know you already got the bike with the training wheels on it. How do you know that, son? Because I know you're a great daddy. He is. He's the greatest dad ever. And that's what we're stepping into, everybody. We're stepping into a time where we can celebrate and commune with Him on now knowing our purpose, why we're here. I found out I'm 14th generation American. Miles Standish was my grandfather, the first pilgrim. And I'm thinking about my lineage going back. And it was one woman who married a man. She had 2 boys and a girl. The girl was the last baby to be born. If she didn't have that girl, we wouldn't be having this discussion. I wouldn't be here. But God made it so. For this moment right now. For you, for your family, for your legacy. And all we have to do is rest. There's 2 definitions, there's 2 concepts to rest. One is the task has been completed. And now we can enjoy the fruits of the effort. And then I created the moniker R period, E period, S period, T period, resist every stupid thought. Because that's what gets everybody in trouble. And causes people to go and, do stupid things like sell XRP. And then go, what did I do? So if all this is kicking off and at the earliest, sometime after tomorrow, about the only thing we have any real time to do is to make sure we have all of our treats and food ready to go. Gas in the car, a little bit of cash. Fiat currency isn't going to transfer into the new system, so you don't want to be sitting on large amounts of U.S. currency because we're not going to be able to convert it into the new money. And there's specific reasons for that. But you need to be making a copy of all of your financial information tonight. Get online and take a snapshot, screen capture of your bank account with the balance. Investment accounts. Investments are all going to zero too. But retirement accounts will be spared. And again, don't look at this as a negative, please. And the reason for that is each person is going to get over, depending upon your age, 20 million plus from NESARA. 20 million. I don't know anybody that has 20 million in the bank. Or 20 million in investments. And I'm talking, day-to-day people. I'm not talking about the elite. Or financial managers who've made their money on other people's losses. So don't worry about it. I had somebody upset because they didn't believe in banks and, had some money sitting wherever they kept it. And they would buy money orders to pay their bills, cash their check, do all that. And they were so upset that they were going to lose that money versus the money they were getting from NESARA. So it's like, you have to keep everything in perspective. That's super, super important. So I think we're there. The Lord had me put out that Gematria responding to a Charlie Ward video. And I have it right here. It was on the 19th. Oh, that's when we did the Ben Bernanke one too. I was really excited. I finally got to release that. See, that's another reason too. It's like, I knew he was only going to let me reveal that when we were at the end. And boy, what he had to say about Ben Bernanke. He loves him. He loves him. And the Gematria that I wrote up, that's all going to come out after the fact. But I did a little Gematria after I did that post. And Ben Bernanke was the primary phrase. It was God is hidden, godly, birth name, exactly, and then real love. And God said that was his impression on Ben Bernanke. Because he got a raw deal. He got a raw deal under Bush Jr. and Obama. They used him. And it was sad what Obama said about him. But I'm not going to repeat that. It'll come out later on. Yes. So the primary phrase was, it triggers payment. And then here were the phrases. When, moon, earthquake, prophet of God, clear prophecy, October 10th. And there's stuff about that we're not going to go into now. Cornerstone, manifestation, impossible code, master plan. And what the Lord said was, all the clues and all the stuff that was out there, nobody solved it. Nobody even came close. But with the Lord's help, it was perfect. Perfect math proofs. Perfect circle. All of the numbers were perfect. The Gematria was perfect. And all it did was show his master plan. So I'm not taking credit for that. Okay, so please don't think that I'm being in any way boastful with any of this. I didn't ask for this. He asked me to be his messenger. And to honor him, I accepted the invitation. But all the glory and honor is his, 100%. But we got word the other day that the contract was signed, and that was the NESARA contract, and that the liquidity had been received. In essence, the money was in the right places because the money is going to different countries. In order to get their NESARA, they have to go back to their country where they were born. And they can only receive their NESARA in their country. Think about that. What is that going to do? So there's a lot of cool stuff. And I was super, super excited to finally get that last piece of information, around 1 or 2 o'clock this morning, that was really the capstone or the cornerstone to what's taking place. I mean, you guys, everybody's been so patient. All of you have been so kind and accepting. I want to thank all of you for that. Thank you to those that have popped in to deal with some trolls and bots. I really appreciate that you kind of came to my aid. I know the Lord was pleased with that, so thank you. He says thank you. So we'll just, he's been saying be watchful. Be watchful. So we'll just be watchful. See what happens tomorrow. I'm going to go get a haircut. First thing in the morning. I'm going to go get a haircut, pull $500 to $1,000 in small bills, ones, 5s, and 10s, just in case there's, some problem with the system, and you can only get stuff with currency. And then I'm going to tell you one other thing, and then we'll wrap it up. I've been watching our local Walmart. And I don't know if your Walmarts have done this at the grocery stores. They've all remodeled, and they've put twice as much room in between all the aisles. I mean, it was normally like, let me say 5 foot, right? 2 carts, or somebody standing there, and it was like they couldn't cram enough stuff in there. And now it's like you could drive a car between the shelves. They got rid of all of the employee checkout. It's all self-checkout now. And I go, Lord, they're getting ready for the stampede, aren't they? He goes, yep. And none of the people in the store know it. None of the employees. Because they're going to give about 4-hour notice. And they're going to tell people, go directly home. Well, what are you going to do? It's like, we don't have any food. So people are going to be, they're going to be on edge, trying to get to the grocery store, grabbing a cart, throwing food in there, and checking out. Well, that's why it's all self-checkout now. And the aisles are wide, so somebody can be on each side, and you can still get through the aisle to get around them to, get your favorite stuff. But I wouldn't normally do this, but the information is so compelling. It's like, call in sick tomorrow. Take the day. Take the Lord's day. And just take care of stuff for yourself and your family. That's not investment advice. It's just common sense. With that, I want to thank you. I want to tell you how much I love all of you. And we'll see what happens tomorrow and the remainder of next week. God bless.